Stuart, a trustee of Heropreneurs, and I'm joined by Ben Brabham, who's one of our mentors and is helping us out grow the charity. So, Ben, what makes you involved in Heropreneurs, and how do you think your experience can help others?
Okay, well, I'm a mentor, but I'm also somebody who has served as a Royal Marine. When I left the Marines, I spent a little bit of time working in finance, a very short amount of time before I set up my own business, online business, processing payments. And I built that up and sold it, working in fact with a fellow former Royal Marine. And after that, I got involved in a range of e-commerce businesses, both as an investor, a co-founder and advisor. And for me, that process continues, so I'm looking for the next opportunity. So while I'm hoping to help other people make that transition from the military into entrepreneurial employment in the civilian world, I'm also doing it myself.
And obviously, working with Heropreneurs, because I know you do a lot for us, is a bit of a drain on your resources. So what is it that pushes you to doing that? Why not just get on with your own civvy life?
I think one of the most important lessons that certainly I've been learning, and which I would encourage every former military potential entrepreneur to learn, is you cannot spend too much time. Just as you can't spend too much time in reconnaissance, you can't spend too much time in building your network. And from my point of view, Heropreneurs is a great way of meeting people who've been there and done it, and who've got access to potential customers, potential investors, and potential colleagues. And all, of course, available to people like me, people who've left the armed forces, who are trying to create something, sometimes from scratch.
And how do you find, I mean, Heropreneurs, obviously we're focused at people who are maybe recently ex-military, maybe setting up the first time in business. Is that all that it's about, or is there kind of naturally more trust in that environment than in some of the other networks you've been a part of?
Well, I think there are some common pitfalls for people leaving the armed forces and going into entrepreneurship, and it's always useful to sort of compare and contrast with other people who are going the same journey. So from my point of view, it's useful comparing with people who've got the same background, the military background that I've got, but it's also useful, and that journey, I mean, I've been out now for over a decade. That journey continues for me. I'm still making my way into civilian entrepreneurship. I'd like to think I can help some of the people who are a little fresher out of the military than I am. On the other hand, I've got plenty to learn from people who've been through the mill already.
And now you've learned the civilian, if you like, tools to doing business. How do you rate the kind of civilian experience versus the military experience as far as sort of life lessons learned that helps you sort of push yourself forward each day?
I think that the military experience I had, and I'm sure many other people have had, is a fantastic grounding for entrepreneurship. You're good at dealing with uncertainty, you're good at dealing with problems which keep on changing, you've got the ability to select and maintain your aim, you're trained to deal with that kind of uncertainty, and you're also trained to deal with teams of people. And I think that package is a great starting block for any entrepreneur. So from my point of view, I think that it's a great transition to make.
And how does that differ between that and your experience of being in employment post-leaving? I mean, would you recommend being employed immediately post-leaving? And what kind of constraints did you feel you suffered there?
Well, I was employed for a relatively short time. I worked for an investment bank for less than a year after I left the Marines. And I do think it was, from my point of view, very useful. It was a huge learning experience. People used to compare it to drinking from a fire hose. I picked up quite a lot about finance. And I think probably for anyone leaving the armed forces, it's well worth considering a transitionary period where they work as part of an organisation, where they learn about some of the non-military aspects of civilian employment, like the different HR climate, the different human resources climate, the different rules of employment. And also, of course, they learn perhaps about trade and commerce. But I'd also say that if you're in the armed forces still, now's a great time to start thinking about that and looking at those skills.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot, Ben, for joining us about Heropreneurs.